Hi Ravi,
Hi, Srikanth.
how are you doing?
Doing good.
See, I really want to say sorry. You sent me a recording last week. I watched it already.
Hmm.
I never got to schedule time with you to review. So we will do that offline, maybe
Okay.
sometime next week. If I
Okay.
or if you're available on Saturday, we can do that. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So Ravi, we have less than 30 minutes. And as you know, there are people watching us having this conversation, and this is being recorded. I want to let you know this will remain confidential. In the event of um, I feel like sharing with other people who are going through my education, I will seek your exclusive permission and share it only when you give me permission. Otherwise, I will not. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the time we are together, Ravi, what is that you would like to explore?
So, Srikanth, basically, my wife and I have been very busy with our careers and life so far. And we have finally taken a call to kind of slow down a little bit, get into a little bit of retirement mode, not really retirement, but retirement mode. So, as a result, we have a lot of time on hand to spend with each other. So when we were busy, we had very little time. So a lot of time went in discussing what actions need to be taken and so on and so forth, which did not turn into arguments. Right now, we're trying to have conversations, and then sometimes these conversations turns into arguments. So I don't know what to do, or how to do deal with this, because now that we have a lot of time in hand, I want to use it well with her than getting into some kind of an argument.
Ravi, I heard you say a few words: career, life, time in hand, retirement, slow down, conversation turning into arguments. And I see a short smile on your face.
Yeah, the last part.
While you are sharing this with me, how are you feeling right now?
Uh, well, I feel my feeling is, things could be better.
Things could be better. What does that mean?
It means that I have a lot more meaningful and engaging conversation with my wife and less of arguments or fights.
These meaningful and engaging conversations with less fights, what would they bring you, Ravi?
It will give me peace and happiness, and for both actually.
Peace and happiness for both. And if you're able to get that, how would your life change overall?
Overall, I think how would I say? It'll basically make us both happy, and yeah, can't I don't know, I can't put words right now. So life will change because it's going to be a happy for stay. I mean, at the end of the day, I know that I will not be able to eliminate 100% of the arguments and fight, but on trivial issues, at least I can get over it. So it will make life simpler and more meaningful.
Life will become simpler and more meaningful. You have to describe your overall life right now, Ravi. How would you like to describe it?
I didn't get the question, Sri.
Right now, if you have to describe your overall life,
Mhm.
how would you like to describe?
Overall life is very, quite happy. It's a wonderful life that I have. I don't have any complaints, and I don't have any responsibilities that I have to really work my ass off, which I did in the past. So it's very comfortable. Very, I'm in a very good state, I must say.
Overall, I'm very comfortable in a very good state. What I'm hearing is when it comes to the relationship with your wife, there seemed to be a little bit of, for a lack of a word, not so happy, not so comfortable.
Uh, look, for most part, the relationship is good, happy. Where I have a challenge is that when we have that extra time, how to have the conversation with my wife, where you know, I one of the things is that I lack patience, and I also have a very short focus of attention span. So while she's talking, sometimes I drift away to doing something else, and that pisses her off. So, you know, this is like what I'm trying to deal with is more towards icing on the cake rather than the cake itself.
So let's play with that metaphor. So what I'm hearing is the cake is there, I'm happy. The icing is the extra time that I have. I want to have meaningful, engaging conversations.
Conversation or engagement with my wife, doing things, watching something, discussing something. I don't know. So anything that she finds happiness in.
Anything that she finds happiness in the time that you both can do together. Anything that brings her happiness, what does that bring you?
Oh, my wife makes me happy in every aspect of life. So this is something that I want to give it back to her. I'm not as good a husband as she is a wife. So I want to improve myself and be the better husband for her.
And what made you say that?
Um, you know, she reads my mind. She knows exactly what I'm thinking, when I'm thinking, how I'm thinking, but I can't do the same thing. Sometimes I miss the obvious. So
And I also,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
my wife, she can read the which is not obvious, and I am, I missed obvious.
You can read the which is not obvious, you can get it, but what is obvious, you are missing it. And I'm also, a while ago, I heard you saying that in a conversation, I get distracted.
Mhm.
So we've been on this conversation for just about 10 minutes.
Mhm.
So far, what has been useful for you in this conversation?
Useful thing is that the reinforcement that I need to change myself and be a better person, a better husband for my wife.
I need to be a better person and a better husband for my wife. As you are hearing me say this to you, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling I'm not there yet.
Okay. So in the remaining time that we have, Ravi, what would be a meaningful takeaway for you from this conversation?
So anything that will at least one habit or one quality of mine that I need to uh, work on to make this relationship the icing on the cake, so to speak, work.
And icing on the cake is make use of that extra time to have meaningful conversation or engage with my wife to do something together, which will bring her happiness.
Exactly.
So by end of this conversation, how would you know that you found that answer that you were looking for?
If I'm able to pinpoint one character of mine or one habit of mine, then yes, I know that we have come to, we know that by the end of the session that we have achieved something.
So right now, you are in a state that you have this feeling, I need to be a better person and a better husband
Mhm.
to my wife, and I need to identify a habit that I can work on by end of this session. If you're able to do that by end of this session, how will your life change overall?
So, yeah, we'll have less arguments and, those extra time, at least neither of us will be thinking, why do we have that extra time now? Things were better than better with it or without it, right? So that has to change. There is a risk. Both of us are very, very strong individuals, successful in our own rights, and both are individuals that um, they're very clear what they want to do in life, and neither of us have ever stopped the other person from doing what they want to do, right? So, so if I have to put it, we both are quite independent. We don't depend on each other per se, right? So that's the thing. That's the danger. So if I don't fix these things, that independence being too independent may cause a problem in long term.
We both are two independent, successful individuals. So for us to go from this place of not being a better person and not a better husband, to go to this place of being a better person and a better husband, what are certain things that you feel that we may have to kind of look at and move forward?
I think um, he, I think on the emotional quotient, I I need to improve on my EQ while dealing with my wife.
And I see you laughing subtly. Where's that coming from?
Sometimes when we have this conversation, she feels that I'm not paying attention, I'm not paying importance, and things what she says doesn't seem to resonate with me. And I was having an earlier conversation where I said, by nature, I'm a bit short-tempered person, so I tend to react than act. So if I'm able to improve my emotional quotient, I think I'll be able to control my temper and act rather than react.
I have these words react and act. What do these words really mean to you?
So react basically means a knee-jerk response to something, which doesn't necessarily consider all the aspects before taking such an action. Whereas action means you thought through, given it a bit of consideration before you actually wait a little bit before you actually do it. So that's what the difference is.
Reaction is action without consideration. And the other one is action with consideration. And what is your meaning of emotional quotient?
Emotional quotient means controlling these aspects of the temper, basically I think the impatience and the temper, tempering the temper. If I have to have to learn to temper the temper.
I have to learn to temper the temper. And what does that mean?
Getting a hold of it. You know, many times anger takes over me. I would rather have anger in my control than me being in anger's control.
I want to take control of anger than being in, in the control of anger. When you are hearing this, how are you feeling?
Feeling there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done in this area.
All right. So we are like close to 20 minutes in this conversation, less than 10 minutes. Where are we right now in the conversation from where we started?
So we started talking about how I can, leverage the extra time that I have with my wife for a more meaningful discussion or engagement. To finding that my anger issue is the key bottleneck to do so.
So in the remaining time that we have, about 9 to 10 minutes, what is that you would like to see happening?
Maybe if I can find ways to deal with this anger issues. It will help me act rather than react.
So I'm sensing that if I can figure out a way to control my anger, then I will be able to act than react. Then maybe I can get to a place of being a better person and a better husband.
So I'll give you an example, Shri. Like I said, we both are very independent, right? So I run an agriculture business, she runs an architecture business. My personally, I don't ask her any questions about her business because I don't understand. But my wife, she asks me a lot of questions about my business, not because she wants to intrude, she just wants to learn, you know, make herself part of my journey. And sometimes I take it as because of my anger issues, I take it as she's doing a review. Then the conversation gets into a very different tangent, which then, takes a lot of time for me to uh, console her and get back where we started. So that's the thing, the simple things like that. I should stop thinking that she's reviewing me, which I've not been able to do.
So you said she's asking those questions because of the interest. And because of the anger issues, I'm thinking she's reviewing my business, and that gets into an argument. What are you learning from what I just repeated from what you said?
It's just that I don't understand my wife much. No, on a serious note, I think I I am assuming a lot of stuff. And probably not looking at it the way my wife is looking at it. I'm assuming things. So that's the issue. And the other thing is when she asks questions, the thing is that my wife calls me a peripheral thinker, right? If you have to use the American term, she is a person who aims and shoots, and I'm a person who shoots and then aims. So, and when she does something, she would have thought 10 steps ahead and then, worked everything. Whereas I look at the end result, then I'll keep working step by step and say things will happen. So when she starts asking these questions, like what is the seventh step, what is the eighth step, where I'm still stuck in the second or third, and I'm not going to think about seventh and eighth until I get there. As they say, we'll cross the bridge when it comes, right? So that's where the issue is, where we talk about the reviews feeling that comes into me.
So Ravi, we have close to about 5 minutes. What I was wondering is, if you want to explore this topic further, we can schedule sometime next week and go a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
In the remaining time that we have, if there is an action that you feel is there for you that you can consider taking, what could be that action?
So action-wise, I think maybe I should look at respecting the difference in the personality and start answering her question rather than thinking that she's checking on me, right? So yeah, I think that's where it is. Most of our conversations which turn into argument is in this area. Otherwise, there is nothing that really gets into an argument for us.
So what I'm hearing is, instead of assuming that she's reviewing, offer the answers to cater to her interests.
Yep. Yeah, you put it better than I did.
And when are you going to start doing this?
I think from today, because I know she's right now in Bangalore and I'm in the village doing the thing. So we are going to have an end of day call. So I think I can start there.
Sure. Right. And how would you know that you're staying on track, taking control of the anger and acting and not reacting?
How would I know? Yeah, I think if my wife suddenly starts feeling that she is talking to someone else and not her husband, I know.
And when you know that you're just falling off track, how will you make sure that you get back on track?
I don't know, Shri, at this point in time. I think it's something that I might have to do a trial and error with. Maybe have that fight, sit back, review, and I find out which part of the conversation led to that fight, and rework on that in the next conversation. So I think I don't have a I can't put a finger and say this is what I can do.
What are some internal strengths that you have within you can really support you in this effort?
Well, this is something that my wife also says. I've been an excellent customer service in personal right from my start of my career. So, and many of my customers are still happy with me, even though I don't work for the company anymore. I still get calls. So if I can do it there, I don't know what is stopping me from doing it with my wife. Why can't I be a good customer rep?
You're laughing when you're sharing this. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. So that fact that I'm not treating my wife the way I should during these conversations. Um, I don't extend the same kind of courtesy that I extend when I'm dealing with my customers and other uh, transactional relationships. So I think I need to change that.
So, Ravi, we are less than a minute away from closing the session. How would you like to summarize the entire conversation, wrap it up in like less than 30 seconds?
So basically, to get to that state of having a more meaningful engagement, meaningful discussion and engagement with my wife, I need to work on my skills to deal with her, you know, like work on my anger issues. I need to work on the way stop assuming what her intentions behind certain questions that she asks and stuff like that. So remove my independent hat and become a little more emotionally dependent on my wife and allow her to depend on me as well.
Wish you all the best in your endeavors, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so
I
much,
look
Ravi.
forward to hear from you.
Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you.